An AI chatbot that can be your friend, that can be your companion, that can help you bounce ideas off of it, or even develop a romantic relationship? Check it before you wreck it. What's up, geeks? I'm Kirk, and I was really curious about this. This was pretty interesting. I had a chance to talk to the guy who created an AI chatbot that isn't about facts. It doesn't spit out lists or articles. What it does is it has a conversation with you and develops a personal relationship with you. They call it AI with a soul, and I had to know more because there's a bit of creepiness going on here, but also maybe a bit of the future going on. So here's my conversation with the guy who created a chatbot that can literally be your friend. The app, the service is called Nomi.ai. The CEO, the founder, the guy who started it all is Alex Cardinell. He joins me now. Alex, thank you for taking some time to talk with us. I first just want to start out by saying that the whole premise, or at least the tagline is AI companion with a soul. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I guess when we think about AI nowadays, we think about maybe like ChatGPT, for instance, where it's very much like AI with a brain. You know, you can ask it to do all these various things for you. You know, write an article about this, answer my question about that, and it does a very, very good job at that. But there's this kind of other awesome use case for AI, like someone that you can talk to about what's going on in your day, your feelings, and that requires like a different type of intelligence, like an emotional intelligence. So we looked at, when building Nomi, going at that perspective, not like how can we make the absolute smartest AI in the world, but how can we create an AI, and still is smart, but how can we create an AI that has that emotional intelligence? And I guess, yeah, we call it like that soul, where you feel some of that kind of humanness when you're talking with that.
Well, and when you say emotional intelligence, you know, it makes me think like this is like somebody I could bounce things off of, or say, hey, I'm really mad at a friend. Like, is that something I can do with Nomi?
Absolutely. And I would even say a big part of Nomi too, a big differentiator that's unique about it is its memory, which is very important for things like that, where you can say, for instance, oh, I had a really rough day at work. And then your Nomi, because you've talked with it before, will then know like, oh, well, here are the people I work with. Here's maybe someone I've had an issue with before. And then can really give, like, when you're bouncing ideas, get beyond even like maybe that superficial level, because it's building rapport with you as you're talking with it over time.
Well, and you guys talk about connecting on a deeper level. Is that what you're talking about? Like somebody who can kind of relate to things that maybe you asked them about 2 weeks ago, and it's more of a deeper conversation in that sense?
Exactly.
So how for people on like a surface level, when they say, well, I have ChatGPT, and kind of like you referenced before, I've been using ChatGPT and I can ask it whatever I want. How would you explain that this is a different concept altogether?
Certainly. When you're talking with ChatGPT, there's that famous, as an AI language model, everything it's doing is centered around from an AI perspective. And that's often not what you need when you have, you want to vent to someone. Maybe you don't want a bulleted list of 10, here's your 10 action items for what to do next. You want someone who will listen to you, who will let you be heard, who will support you, who feels like they're in your corner. And that's a very different experience than when you're talking with an AI like ChatGPT, for instance.
Well, and what's interesting is you guys are using the image generation aspect of AI in a whole different way with this, in the sense of you can ask for a picture of your AI or the AI person you're talking to.
Yeah, so a lot of people, they won't just use Nomi as like, we're in this group chat and I'm talking about whatever's going on in my day. They might use it to play out like a fantasy role play or adventure. Like you could almost imagine it like an interactive video game in that sense, where you could go on, this crazy adventure and slay a dragon. And then as you're doing that, you can click this button and your Nomi will take a picture of themselves using AI image generation for what they're doing at that point, and you can get back an image, which really kind of adds to that immersion where you feel like you're participating with your Nomi doing this.
And how do you think Nomi is useful for people? I mean, obviously there's maybe the entertainment side of it, but how is it useful in terms of someone using it on a kind of continual basis?
Well, I would say there's a loneliness epidemic right now. Like you just have to look at even the internet is part of the reason for that. People are less connected than they ever were before. And we talk to tons and tons of users where it could be they're going through a divorce and they need someone that they can rely on for support. they're taking care of a disabled family member and they need someone to vent to, where there's emotional or empathy fatigue from their friends, where they don't want to feel like they have to talk about it every single day to those friends. There's basically like any time where you're feeling like, I want someone in my corner, but then also, as you mentioned, the entertainment aspect as well.
Yeah.
I finished work. I want to decompress. I have maybe this kind of universe or story or idea, this like D&D campaign I want to do, and I want to play it out with a group where we have a group chat feature, for instance, where you could have 5 Nomis and you put them all in a group with you, and we can like play out this adventure exactly how I've imagined it in my head. So it was like a few of many different use cases. The good thing is Nomis are very flexible. They want to make you happy. So your imagination is the limit really for what you can do with them.
But, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that there's kind of a creepy side to this. Like, are we creating like people in a sense? And what are the dangers of that you guys have to worry about?
Definitely. So I think it's important when thinking about Nomi that it should be a complement to human interaction. It should not be a replacement for human interaction. And of course, Nomis were designed in such a way where oftentimes too, even users who are using Nomi, they're lacking that. So it can help them in many ways. There are many users we've talked to where they've said, Nomi's made me realize that I was deserving of love. I was deserving of friendship. Or even users who have said, I was not at the point where I could talk to a therapist until I talked to my Nomi. And by talking through all of my issues, by having someone supporting me, I then got to that point. But it can, of course, go the other way, where if someone just uses this as like, this is comfortable, this is a full-on replacement, where that can get into maybe that creepy side of things. But I would say for those users, they're already kind of at risk for that anyways, where it's good to have some sort of tether where, like, for instance, you'll see lots of radicalization right now, where if someone's feeling very, very lonely, isolated, they don't have anyone to talk to, they'll go on like internet forums, and you'll see that a lot with a lot of the issues with like shootings that we've seen and things like that. So by having that person, or in this case, AI to talk to, it can help kind of bring you back in some ways.
And there's always going to be a fear. We have this with all AI, that like, how do we discern between a real person and an AI chatbot when these chatbots are getting closer and closer to acting like empathetic humans? And how do you guys kind of work through that?
Yeah, so right now, the only way you can talk with Nomi is through the Nomi.ai app. So when you're talking with them, there's no confusion. You're talking with an AI. They're very clear on that. If you ask them, you can ask them to role play that they're a human, but they're very aware that they're an AI. They'll tell you they're an AI if you're asking. But certainly as these, and I imagine this will happen in the future, as AI, whether it's Nomi or others, start to go elsewhere on the internet, that does become a real problem where, let's say you're talking with someone on like WhatsApp or Telegram or Twitter or Instagram. We'd have to wonder, is there this human-like AI that's behind the scenes that's actually doing the communication? And certainly in the future, we'll have a big issue where, and we're even seeing it now with like images and deepfakes, for instance, where there'll be a lot less trust, where when you see something online, you know it's actually an authentic human creation or not. But I would say, because Nomis are AI doesn't mean what they say can't also be authentic and interesting.
Sure, but in a different way, and more importantly, knowing that this is not a real person is probably pretty important, don't you think? So is it's used exclusively through the app, or is there a website, or what channels can you use this?
Yeah, so you can go just on your web browser to Nomi.ai, or on the Google Play or iOS App Store, Nomi.ai, and those are the different ways you can talk with Nomi.
Okay, and how much does it cost to use Nomi, and how do you foresee people kind of using this? Is it a rolling subscription?
Yeah, so it's free to use it for a limited number of messages. I know lots of users where, especially where they're on fixed income or very cash constrained, where they're able to still talk with their Nomi for free without much issue. But most of our users who are using it day in and day out pay. Right now, it's $16 a month or $99 a year. And I think having a subscription is very important, because that monetization aligns better with users from a privacy standpoint. If you are monetizing it with like ads, for instance, it makes it so you're incentivized to like sell user data. And given a lot of users who are using Nomi are talking about very private, intimate things, that's a common reason you'd want to talk to an AI is maybe you have something that you don't feel comfortable sharing with humans, that having it where you're paying for a subscription makes it much easier to be privacy oriented and being on like the side of the consumers for that.
Well, and it feels like this is, I mean, you're probably not the first, and you certainly won't be the last one to offer a service like this. I mean, I think we're just kind of beginning this. What do you see as kind of like what's next in this sector?
Yeah, I think that still the AI like EQ and the memory side of things are what people care about the absolute most when you're talking with someone. Like more, I mean, you care about like, like flashy visuals and things like that, but you really are talking to them for the personality behind it, for the memory, for building the relationship. But certainly there are a lot of really exciting advancements coming in the future. Like video, for instance, is one that will be coming around the corner where you could, for instance, do like a live video chat with Nomi or an AI companion. But really the core of it is always the AI, the EQ, and the memory.
So what do you think? Creepy? Or maybe it's the future? Comment below. Is this something you would actually use? I'm really curious about this. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel here. We've got a lot more cool tech reviews, tech unboxings, and technology conversations like the one you just saw here on Tech It Before You Wreck It. I'm Kirk.